Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Weekly Bold and the Beautiful Recap, March 24 to 28. Hope's Breakdown and Deacon's Demands. It was a big week in Los Angeles. The Bold and the Beautiful Recaps for March 24 to 28 cover an explosive week in Los Angeles. Hope had a major meltdown. Carter suffered a broken heart. Steffi was on cloud 9. Deacon gave Sheila an ultimatum and so much more. Brooke, Catherine Kelly Lang, tried to stand up for Hope, Annika Noel, but her pleas went unheard. Hope had made up her mind and was done with Forrester Creations. She turned to Carter, Lawrence St. Victor, for support, but he was warned that leaving the company would mean the end of his career there. Carter apologized to Hope and chose to stand by his family, leaving her frustrated. Despite Brooke's attempts to reason with Hope, she stormed out of the office, bidding farewell to both Forrester Creations and Carter. Carter chased after her and found her at her cabin, but Hope was furious. She accused him of not backing her up and refused to listen to his attempts to make things right. Carter begged her to reconsider, but Hope pushed him away with harsh insults, leaving him determined not to let her go. Back at the office, Brooke confronted Steffi, Jacqueline Messins Wood. But Steffi stood her ground, refusing to back down. Brooke then asked to speak with Ridge, Thorsten K. alone, pleading with him to see that she only took the CEO job to reclaim the company for him. She insisted that she hadn't betrayed him, despite his relationship with Taylor, and was willing to move past it all if they could be together again. Ridge seemed unmoved when Brooke leaned in for a kiss. He just stood there like a statue. Elsewhere, Zend, Delon Demetz, and Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, discussed the situation with Carter, with Daphne Rose expressing concern over his future at Forrester Creations. She admitted she had strong feelings for Carter, which had even kept her from returning to Paris. Meanwhile, Electra, Linnea Grace, and Will Crew Morrow discussed dollar bills, Don Diamond, actions, and the future of the Forrester family. Later, they met up with Zend and Daphne Rose. Electra worried about potential tension within the company. Daphne Rose's focus remained on Carter. She hoped he would end his relationship with his girlfriend, unaware that Carter's feelings for Hope ran much deeper than she realized. Brooke pleaded for another chance at love. She wanted to rekindle their relationship, but Ridge was hesitant, still scarred by the recent coup drama. Despite his reluctance, Brooke remained determined, insisting that their destiny was to be together. She vowed to do whatever it took to win him back, refusing to accept defeat. Meanwhile, in the design room, Steffi updated Daphne Rose on the latest events. Daphne was pleased to hear that Hope was no longer with the company, and they speculated whether she would also be out of Carter's life. Taylor later joined them and shared their happiness about Hope's departure. However, she was far less thrilled to hear that Brooke was still in the picture. When she finds out Brooke is alone with Ridge, she assumes Brooke is advocating for Hope's job, but in reality, Brooke was fighting for Ridge's heart. Taylor interrupted just as Brooke attempted to steal a kiss, but that did not deter Brooke. She boldly asked Ridge to choose between her and Taylor. Back in the design room, Steffi expressed her gratitude to Daphne Rose for helping Carter make the right decisions. Daphne, in turn, had a favor to ask. Carter could never find out the true reason she came to town or why she grew close to him. Steffi suspected that Daphne had real feelings for Carter, given how deeply she seemed to care for him. Meanwhile, in the cabin, Carter faced Hope's fury. She was livid over his betrayal and refused to accept his apologies. Carter admitted that he felt sick about stealing the company and betraying his friends, but Hope placed all the blame on him, reminding him that he had created the LLC papers. Carter argued that they had made those choices together, but the conversation shifted when Hope brought up his connection with Daphne Rose. She accused him of not only ruining her career, but also failing to keep another woman at a distance. Having been through this before, Hope declared that their relationship was in a difficult situation when Brooke and Taylor competed for his heart in the main office. Brooke made it clear how much she loved him, even justifying her decision to take the CEO position as a way to protect their company for his sake. She invited him to move back home, while Taylor stood by and watched. Despite Brooke's heartfelt plea and references to their past, Rich was not entirely convinced. Though he acknowledged what they had once shared, he realized the past was behind them. Instead of choosing Brooke, he ultimately chose Taylor. Meanwhile, in another part of the office, Finn, Tanner Novlan, interrupted Steffi and Daphne Rose as they discussed Daphne Rose's growing attraction to Carter. Daphne Rose had clearly developed strong feelings for him, though Hope still seemed to have a hold on him. Finn was pleased to see things settling back to normal, but Daphne Rose soon excused herself to check on someone. That someone turned out to be Carter, who was still reeling from a painful conversation with Hope. At the cabin, Hope and Carter argued about their relationship. Hope was determined to end things, while Carter desperately tried to convince her to give him another chance. He promised to make things right, but she accused him of never truly loving her. She also warned that the Forrester family would eventually betray him as well, just as she believed they had done to her. Despite Carter's pleas, Hope remained firm. She declared she no longer loved him, claiming he was no longer the man she had fallen for. After he left, she broke down in tears, remembering their happier times. Later, Carter sat alone in the design room, struggling to process what had happened. As he reflected, the voice in his head wasn't Hope's, it was Daphne Rose's. She soon appeared, revealing that she had considered leaving for Paris, but now felt she couldn't. She admired Carter and reassured him that he was a good man who had made a mistake but was working to make amends. She embraced him in comfort. Meanwhile, Steffi celebrated regaining control of her family's company, but remained wary of Brooke's continued presence. Katie, Heather Tom, and Donna, Jennifer Garise, met at the office to discuss the recent events. The coup had ended, and Eric, Ridge, and Steffi were back in control of Forrester Creations, which was a welcome turn of events. However, they were not pleased to learn that Hope had been fired, and her iconic line had been shelved. Though disappointed, they understood that Hope and Carter's betrayal had serious consequences. Meanwhile, Hope seethed with anger at home before confronting Brooke about her perceived betrayal. She was furious that her mother had stood by while the Forresters ousted her from the company. Hope even implied that Brooke was partly to blame for her downfall. In response, Brooke gave Hope a stern lecture, blaming her daughter for putting her in a difficult position. Brooke had lost Ridge over the coup, despite her intentions to return the company to its rightful leadership. This led to a heated argument between the two, with Hope lashing out at Brooke, accusing her of abandoning her once again and bringing up old grievances, like Brooke not giving her Deacon's last name. The confrontation reached its peak when Brooke, at her breaking point, ordered Hope to leave her house. Hope attempted to slap her mother, but Katie intervened, preventing the situation from escalating further. Hope then broke down, crying and offering heartfelt apologies while Brooke comforted her. Meanwhile, Steffi and Taylor had a much calmer day, celebrating their triumphs. Steffi regained her legacy, and Taylor officially had Ridge by her side. The two shared milkshakes and enjoyed a celebratory dance, basking in their moment of success. Will Crew Morrow and Electra, Lania Grace, were having a conversation at Il Giardino when Deacon, Cian Cannon, joined them. He was angry at Bill for hiding Luna and pardoning her, feeling it was all too much. Will apologized to his father, and Deacon invited them to sit at a table, offering to pay for their lunch. He then left to go upstairs. At the table, Will and Electra began flirting. Will expressed his desire to skip the food and go somewhere private, but Electra hesitated, reminding him that they were trying to take things slow. Will, however, wanted to be exclusive and closer to her, even confessing that he loved her. Just as he was about to continue, Electra received a text from Ivy, Ashley Brewer, causing her to rush back to the office. Meanwhile, Sheila Kimberlyn Brown was overjoyed to spend time with Luna, Lisa Yamada, especially hearing Luna call her Grandma. Sheila hadn't told Deacon about Luna yet but was looking for an apartment for her. As their conversation shifted to Luna's desires, Sheila was interrupted by Deacon's return. Sheila quickly hid Luna before Deacon entered.